A good budgeting app should feel like relief the moment you open it. For most people, it feels like paperwork before they've even started. Another form standing between them and a habit they actually wanted to build. This one began as a single plain sentence typed into a chat window, and it grew from there. Download any of the popular budget apps, and the pitch sounds identical every time. Set up your categories, connect your accounts, and watch years of bad habits finally sort themselves out on their own. Most people get through the setup screen, maybe stick around for a month or two of actually opening the app most days, and then quietly stop opening it at all. The categories sit there half finished, the custom rules never get built, and the subscription keeps charging anyway, every single month, whether anyone opens the app or not. By month three, most people are back to tracking nothing at all, or a spreadsheet that hasn't been opened since the day they first made it. And before any of that setup even begins, most of these apps ask for something much bigger first: full access to your bank. Every checking account, every credit card, synced and shared before you've had a real chance to decide whether the tool is even worth trusting yet. That's usually the exact moment someone closes the tab for good and never comes back. It's not because budgeting stopped mattering to them. It's because handing over real login credentials to an app they downloaded 10 minutes earlier felt like way too much, way too soon, for a benefit they hadn't even seen demonstrated. And that access rarely comes free either. The features actually worth having tend to sit behind a subscription running somewhere in the $100 to $200 range annually, sometimes more once you add a partner or a business tier. Every single year, the bill comes due again. Whether someone opens the app daily or forgot their password back in March, the charge lands on schedule regardless, functioning less like a purchase and more like rent on your own spending habits. There's a much simpler starting point than any of that. Instead of filling out forms and picking from somebody else's preset category list, you can just describe how your money actually moves in plain language and let AI build the actual structure around it. No drop down deciding what your spending gets called. No 15-question intake about about your household before the tool has done a single useful thing for you. You describe the situation the way you'd explain it to a friend, and AI reads that description and builds a working dashboard shaped around it, not a template with your name typed in the header. Less time explaining yourself to software, more time actually looking at your money. The actual brief we gave it was short, maybe 4 sentences total. Track money coming in whenever it actually lands, since freelance work and side income rarely show up on a tidy, predictable schedule the way a salaried paycheck does. Budget using categories that actually reflect how this person spends, not the default buckets everyone gets stuck with, whether or not they fit. Put money aside in advance for the lumpy costs, the ones that skip most months and then land all at once when you least expect them. And skip the bank connection completely on purpose. Everything gets typed in by hand. Set the subscription version right next to that brief for a second, side by side. It wants your bank credentials before you've done a single useful thing with it. It bills you every month, no matter whether your actual habits changed or stayed exactly the same. And it keeps its better tools locked behind an even pricier tier, dangling just out of reach. The money moves either way, every month on schedule. Whether your budget actually gets better along the way is entirely beside the point to the business model. And this is what actually got built. No bank connection anywhere on this page, not even a login field asking for one. Income gets logged the moment it actually lands, whatever the source, whatever the amount happens to be that week. A paycheck here, a freelance payment there, a side gig payout showing up on whatever random day it actually landed. Right below it sits a real transaction log, tracking every single purchase as it happens. Trader Joe's, $86. Shell, $42. One line at a time, closer to keeping a receipt drawer than filling out a form. Right next to the transactions sit the part that actually holds people accountable. The budget sitting above it isn't some separate number somebody typed in and hoped stayed accurate. Every single category total gets calculated directly from that transaction log. Groceries, gas, subscriptions, eating out, shopping, all five of them pulled live from what actually got entered. Groceries landed at $286 against a $400 target. Gas, 80 against 120, which meant that when shopping ran $15 over its $100 target this particular month, the dashboard flagged it immediately. $15 over in orange. No rounding, no softened language, no gentle little footnote pretending it was fine. Off to the side sits three goals, each one filling up like a small jar as money gets added to it over time. An emergency fund sitting at 62%, a vacation fund at just over a third, and a car repair fund past halfway. These are the costs that never land on a predictable month, but always, eventually, land somewhere. A transmission, a canceled trip, an unexpected bill. Instead of blindsiding a single month's budget the way they usually do, each one gets its own running balance, filled in a little bit at a time, long before the actual expense ever shows up. Most budgeting apps lump all of that into one vague savings number and they call it a day. This kept each one separate on purpose. And all of it collapses down into a single chart. Every category, plus whatever went toward the goals that month, broken into one glance, instead of a report you'd have to go dig up separately somewhere else. Groceries take up the biggest slice this month. Goals aren't far behind. Nothing on this page exists twice. Change one number anywhere in the transaction log and everything downstream of it, the budget bars, the goals, this exact chart, moves with it automatically. Quick aside before moving on, because this does matter. Describe this same idea yourself in your own words, and you almost certainly won't get an identical dashboard back. The categories, the goals, even the layout came from real decisions AI made inside the specific brief it was given that day. It's not a template quietly filling in the blanks with your name stamped on top. Your version would end up looking like your money and your habits, not this one and not anyone else's either. The real point here isn't really about budgeting apps specifically, even though that's the example on screen. It's that the tool you'd normally pay a recurring subscription for is very often just a clear description away from existing for free, built around your specific situation instead of everyone else's. Say exactly what you need in plain language. And AI builds precisely that, instead of a feature stuffed product hoping you'll eventually grow into using all of it. So, what does this mean for you? Pick one subscription you're currently paying for that mostly just tracks something: spending, workouts, reading, habits, whatever it happens to be for you. Describe what you'd actually want it to do in plain language, the exact way we did here, and see how close AI gets on the very first attempt. There's a decent chance a good chunk of that monthly charge was paying for a structure you could have described yourself in about 5 minutes, if anyone had ever asked you to try. If you want to see more of these, hit subscribe. We've got new builds going up every week. And if you're curious about what Eau Claire AI does beyond this series, check us out over at eauclaireai.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.